Good morning. Excuse me. Great morning, everyone. This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. Looking forward to sharing this time with y'all. I hope you got your coffee. Hope you got your tea. Whatever you got going on over here, looking to settle in with some charts. Continue. We got some nice clarity. I think today's actually going to be a day about FX. I think there's a lot going on in FX. Look, there's still some time ahead of us over here. It is Thursday, trading overnight, London. Hey, that might be the best time to attack all week. If you have been patient, like myself have this week, been waiting it out. Let's see if that all pays off right now. I think there's a lot going on in FX. We're going to look at that later today. Square invested $50 million in Bitcoin. I didn't know about that. I do know that they've been paying Bitcoin developers just to make Bitcoin better, which helps their bottom line. Don't know why Venmo and other payment processors are not getting into it. PayPal has. Derek, everybody, Yerba Mate, of course. Ruben, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jinsu. All right, so let's start over here with the equity markets. By the way, it's kind of a slow little field so far this morning, all right? But we have equities continuing to rise. There is some positivity in the air about some type of airline deal over here, COVID relief. There is, after that, probably the biggest thing on the docket will be direct $1,200 payments to the citizens of America. And we'll see whether or not that one gets passed or not. It looks like the airlines one should get passed. And more importantly, it's just like that little carrot in front of the market, keeping it pumping. You got a bunch of people over here who are like not participating because they're waiting for volume, and there hasn't been volume all year. Don't take volume off your chart. That's no edge over there. All right, so we'll start off really quick over here. Let's take us more than 30 seconds over here. Just looking at the initial jobless claims, you can see they're kind of flatlining, slightly down. Also want to show you this chart over here. This is continuing claims, and you can see it's the lowest since March, which is a good trajectory. I kind of feel like, and I could be wrong, but I kind of feel like after the election that, everything's going to continue to slowly improve. And I do mean slowly, but I do think it's going to continue to slowly improve. And that's good, right? That's good. We all want to be full of hope. We also want to be realistic, right? So let's keep going over here. Let's figure out what's going on the charts. Let's look at what we're looking at as far as targets over here on the S&P 500 and why. We're, blah, 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 blah. Excuse me for that. All right, let's start over here with targets on the S&P 500. This looks very nice right now as it is holding above this trend line over here, resuming off of it, taking out that last local resistance. Yeah, it was appropriately said we should have some horizontal resistance in over here, but I'm focused on purpose on the trend lines as far as what resistance levels we come in. And I'm just using my mouse here right now, right? I'm using my mouse to give whatever that horizontal resistance is. And right now we're trading above one level right over here, right? It's a light level at 34.26. And you can see it's this trend line that I'm focused in on. Let me draw in some light lines for us. I just don't want to get the chart too messy. All right, so let me draw that in over here. Let me make that a little bit lighter. Follow me over here because I'm looking at a target. That's what I'm going for. Well, that should be support now. If we close above it at least, that should be support. It's a light line. That's because it's a light level, okay? These are all light levels ahead of us. Now, that's why I'm focused in on the trend lines, because the trend lines have been providing support and resistance going back for months, where over here at the new highs, we're looking at light local support and resistance building that over time will become bigger and more powerful lines. So what am I looking at as a take profit? Has it changed? I'm still targeting this area over here, right? I see over here horizontally, we got a light bit of local resistance. It's at 34.83, right? Coupled with this trend line over here. And you could see that this was, it's a decent line of resistance. You can see over here with support. Now, is this bigger? I think this one is bigger, the one above it, okay? I'm not targeting that yet. I'm not targeting the all-time highs, which would be this next trend line over here. And I don't necessarily think that anyone should take profit into here as well. What about moving your stop loss right now, right? Stop loss should be at break even now that we've broken above this resistance over here. Is it time to move your stop loss, right? That's a question that you have to be asking yourself. That's a decent amount of profit. What is it, about 1.5%? I mean, yep, it's about 1.5%. A little lower though. It's just over 1% because you want to give that a little bit of room if you're going ahead and you're locking in profit. I personally lean towards keeping the stop at break even over here. As we get into over here, if we get into this resistance over here, let's watch how price reacts. Now, it is possible, like this is like a hopeful bullish scenario over here. It is possible that like they pass piecemeal airline deal, and then they're talking about next the 1,200, direct payments to individuals. That could keep this thing pushing further, no question about it. Remember, we have been saying the greatest risk has been to the upside, meaning that everyone was expecting a market crash. We felt like everyone was positioned on the wrong side of the market. Nevertheless, we were just following what's happening with price. But going into the election, the greatest risk event for me is that it's a non-event. That election night, there's a clear winner. There's actually someone else concedes, and that we're moving forward as when I speak about we, I'm talking about the United States of America. That the people are moving forward together as a people, as a country. That would send the markets, I believe, who has a lot of risk priced in, potentially up towards all-time highs. So, do you want to take all your profits off the table over here? We want to watch how price reacts. We're going to do it together. It is possible we could break this and then be targeting higher. Do you want to take a small piece off over here? Notice that we weren't looking to take a small piece off this time. Absolutely. And that small piece should be a little bit bigger. All right. So that's that. Let's look at the NASDAQ. How is there a conquering the markets entry? So, by the way, reverse, right? This was the first entry we took. Why was that a conquering the markets entry? Because you had pulled back into support, trendline support, resumed off it above the important 33.39 horizontal support, and that was an entry all day. But that trade was stopped off at break even after a small piece was taken off. That trade was stopped out at break even. Then you came back into this 33.39 support over here, right? We also had that trendline support resuming off of that. Right? In uptrends, what is this, an uptrend or a downtrend? Well, that's an uptrend all day long. We buy off support. Not only that, we were playing the breakout of the descending wedge, bullish, looking to buy off support. Here was the pullback into support. Right there was the entry. That conquered the markets all day long. All right. So clear. Let's take a look over at the NASDAQ now and get a feel for what's going on. So this is coming right up into that resistance, that area where we were talking about. Now is the time to move that stop loss to break even, which was not that yet at break even. Now, by the way, this trade is going on ever since that first original entry over there. Some people might have, I wouldn't, some people might have taken this one over here. Either which way, coming into the resistance right now, it's time to take a little bit of profit, move that stop loss to break even, and continue to push this to see if we get a push above, ideally targeting, again, similar to the S&P, this area over here, right? Initially, let's see how, if we get up there, what price looks like, what it does, how it reacts. You could see just following my mouse, which is why I'm keeping it there, look to the left. You got a little bit, it's so light, right? But you have a little bit of resistance right over there. So I'm focusing on the trend line resistance, all right? Now, is it possible? Right? Of course, anything's possible. It's the markets. We all know that. What's possible, of course, is we're rejected here by this resistance, right? No big deal. Stop loss at break even. In a perfect world, in a perfect world, this trend line over here holds, right? Now, resuming up, right? Does that provide another entry? I think you should still be holding your original entry if that's the case. And then getting above here, however, getting above this resistance, that's what opens up this for future entries on the NASDAQ. So if you're not in it now, you're waiting patiently. Never FOMO, never buy into the resistance. And you're into resistance right now. Now, a lot of traders are like, oh my goodness, the NASDAQ's going up. It's getting away from me. I missed it. Let me buy into resistance. No, you gotta get ahead of the game. You gotta be preemptive of momentum, not chasing momentum. Let's take a look at the Dow today as it's being rejected right here this morning, also into resistance. So you do see that this morning, though, putting the picture together, NASDAQ's at resistance. S&P is not, right? S&P is trading a little, well, it's into right? It's not at resistance. The resistance I'm focusing on is this trend line over here, that little bit of horizontal support over here. But you could see it's into a little bit of supply, right? It's in a little bit of supply over here, no question about it, but not as much. Nasdaq, yes, Nasdaq's into resistance. Dow into resistance, right? What about the Russell clearing well above all resistance? All right. By the way, this trend line over here, that's the parabolic trend line. Once price starts taking off like a rocket ship, trading back below this, that's what should end the move. But as long as we're above it, this could keep going until we break this trend line over here. This looks super good over here. Let me go to a daily time frame, right? What's going on over here? What else do I see over here? What's other? I have this line right over here. Right there. Let me make that a little bit darker as it's coming into play now. Got some resistance over there. So what are we looking at? How to enter this? If you want to enter this, it's simple, and it's very simple. You're waiting now after breaking above this resistance over here. By the way, let me turn that over into support. We're waiting for a pullback, a retest, and a resumption off. What else is going on around the day? Gold and silver. Chris, thank you for pointing that out, by the way. Thanks. I noticed that this morning myself. I noticed that gold and silver were decoupling from the DXY. And my initial thought, and I was wondering if that has anything to do with the possible stimulus coming. I don't know if anyone else has any insight, any input into that. That was my thought when I saw that this morning. Good morning, Amsterdam. Absolutely, J20 trading. Stronger together. That's why we're here. Max, good to see you. How come both Bitcoin and DXY is pumping? They're usually in reverse until they no longer are, right? So, I guess this is what's happening right now. Let's take a moment and talk about it, right? We got not gold and silver decoupling this morning. We also now have Bitcoin joining that party. Why is that happening? So let's talk about the dollar first of all right? Let's talk about the dollar first of all. Sorry, let me pause 1 second. By the way, 1,100 people in here. Thanks for being here this morning. Glad to be sharing this time with you. Really, really, really happy with the direction this whole community continues to go in. Really feel like we're thriving and we got a really, really bright future ahead of us. So what's going on over here on the NASDAQ? Is that a reverse head and shoulders? Listen, could it be? Yeah. Are you looking at left shoulder, head, right shoulder? Yeah. But all right. Sorry for this stutter. I don't really look for head and shoulders personally. If they're clear as day, they're clear as day. But no, it doesn't matter because I'm always spotting the trend lines anyway. And if this is a head and shoulders, I feel like head and shoulders confuses a lot of people. And a lot of people are always looking for head and shoulders. I'm not saying you're wrong, Andre, for doing that at all. But I'm just adding my insight. I feel like a lot like this trend line we had over here. That's also the neckline if that is a head and shoulders, right? So that's my 2 cents. I don't want to go more. I'm not trying to discourage anyone from looking for head and shoulders or anything like that. It's just my own. Oh, sad. I made these numbers over here really big. Are you able to see that or no? I tried making them extra big even 2 days ago. Yeah, right? So what else we going on? Let me come back over there. We wanted to talk about the DXY. We wanted to talk about what we're seeing this morning, which is a little bit of decoupling. Thank you all for being this community, right? All right, so let's go back and let's look at it. First, DXY before we get into Bitcoin and gold and silver. That's our normal flow anyway. But I want to point out that this is just right now in no man's land. Okay? This is here to protect us from sideways consolidation and chop. It's very simple. If you're new here, first of all, glad you're here. But we've been talking about this now for, I guess, all week, right? We're waiting for a break above 94 resistance, which also is this trend line resistance right now, right? If we get above that, we're looking for dollar strength to continue. However, we've moved down our support to 93.40, 93.38. A break below that, That's sending off further dollar weakness. If we break below it, I'll tell you what we're targeting and why. But right now, we're just in no man's land. Okay, we're waiting for one of those things, two things to happen. That's all. And the dollar is really nothing more than basically unchanged on the day. It is slightly up, but it is unchanged on the day. Now, is it possible? I mean, I saw this too. This was a great comment that we saw, that it looked like it's possible gold and silver were decoupling from the DXY today. I see. I don't know if anyone has any insight, please share it. I thought initially, well, if stimulus is being passed, obviously that's going to benefit the metals. Obviously that's going to benefit Bitcoin. Would that benefit the dollar? No. So I don't really know, but what I do know is that, again, and just keep things as simple as possible, just to go near-term history, at the beginning of the year over here, go to January 1st, I'm at December 27th, January 1st, right here, DXY is trading at 96.50, and over the next 2 months, it traded up to 100. Super strong dollar. During that same exact period of time, you saw right over here, right, go back to the end of December, January 1st, gold's trading at 1,500, right? And that went all the way up during that same period towards 1,700, stronger than the dollar. So we all know that at periods, and we've been watching lately, and it's gold and silver have been trading absolutely inversely to the metals and to Bitcoin. But we all know that that correlation stands until it doesn't. It doesn't need to be there, right? So we just have to observe what's happening. And right now we're observing that today there was a little bit of a disconnect. There's not much else to say about that from my point of view. Let's talk about gold right now, coming into this resistance right over there, right? Gold is coming into this trend line resistance, peeking into it right now. And also you have that, again, horizontal resistance right around 1904. That's what's happening on the chart. But just like the dollar is in no man's land, we're also in no man's land. By the way, to make this really easy, now waiting for clarity, now waiting for gold to break this trend line over here before looking to attack to the long side. Okay? So that's gold is super clear. It's no man's land, neutral. If we break below here, then we're looking to challenge that last swing low and probably breaking down, right? However, not looking to trade against gold in this bull market, and gold is in a bull market. And we all seen really quick how things can change and how one tweet, the signal is more stimulus, more spending is coming unquestionably. Right now, we're going to wait. I was aggressive over here last Friday. I'm waiting now for the high probability trade, which is the breakout of that trend line over there. Silver also continues to be in no man's land. It's not just the dollar, it's everything in no man's land. A break above 24.50, which is held as resistance and strong, does that open up an aggressive entry on silver? And would I take it? Maybe. We'll see what happens when we get there. I'm leaning towards it, but I don't know. We'll see when we get there. All right. And why? Because you could see there's gold over here as we get to 1904. We're right into that resistance. I don't want to take a trade right into the resistance. On silver, however, you could see that trading above, where's my silver? Trading above 24.50, right? Well, we have this resistance to worry about. That would be, but there's more room over here to that. So I probably would play it safe. Playing it safe means waiting for the breakout of this trend line. By the way, just because I'm looking to play it safe doesn't necessarily mean you have to. I'm just trying to provide analysts and insight into these charts, breaking them down, hoping to bring clarity to myself and you all at the same time. Let's take a look now at Bitcoin over here and coming right into this trend line over here. That's a big deal, actually, on Bitcoin, right? Now, it hasn't broken through this trend line here right now, but it is testing the trend line that will send it. So we talked about this very well yesterday. I went in. You all noticed, by the way, let me just backtrack 1 second here on Bitcoin as we're getting to an important inflection, a possible important inflection point. You all remember, right, going back over here in this whole area between March, April, my focus was so much on Bitcoin, getting as many people possible to see with clarity, right? To accumulate during that time over there to help them. And we focused heavily on levels over here on Bitcoin. Just go back and watch the videos, right? All through March, all through April. I was very much focused on Bitcoin. And then as we broke above here, right? This was my last 2 ads on Bitcoin with the channel. And then that one over there. Those were my last 3 ads. And then since I've kind of like backed off Bitcoin. Why? Well, because everyone got positioned into Bitcoin. And then we broke out into the bull market, right? Broke out into the bull market, and we're just kind of like watching it from afar. But this is a position trade. This is we make our money here on FX. This is a position trade. By me backing off it, and this is my biggest trade. This is my biggest trade by far. I got over 50% of my portfolio in it, but I'm backing off of it because you don't want to focus on something and the price fluctuations and blah blah blah. Otherwise the more you watch something, the more adept you are, the more prone you are to making a bad decision, right? However, right over here, right now, we're coming to a big inflection point over here. We looked at yesterday how the volatility on Bitcoin was down, which means a big move's coming. Whether that move is up or down, a big move's coming. Now we're fundamentally on chain in an enormous bull market over here. Fundamentally, when you're talking about the 4-year cycle, we're in an enormous phase of the bull market cycle, just ready to get going over here. Of course, I talk about it'll be towards the end of the first quarter where Bitcoin's really begins pumping, but it doesn't mean that right now we are at an important inflection point. We're going making a big move up or down. Everything's pointing towards the bullish side over here. Breaking above this trend line sets it off. However, this is what confirms it, a break above that outer trend line over there, right? So if we're able to do those 2 things, I think that we're targeting over here towards the August high. And then when we take that out, that's when, this late year into the end of the year party gets started. Is it possible we get rejected here? Of course. As long as we hold this trend line over here, right? And by the way, that trend line over there, so this trend line goes down also to here. But you see that resistance over there, right? You see that resistance. You see the touches down there. So I'm keeping it up here where it's tight, but it goes back down there, right? You guys get that? So if we lose this over here, then that would be super, super negative near term for Bitcoin. And if you are trading Bitcoin, that's where you have to have your stop loss, because we could trade down $1,500 easily, right? All right. So that's Bitcoin. That's getting a little more into it today, rightfully so. What else are we looking at over here? Glad to have you back with us. Bitcoin's going down for sure when stocks rally. Oh man, Fab Bang, I wish you were on the right side of the trade. You're absolutely on the wrong side of the trade. Bitcoin doesn't go down when stocks rally unless it's in its bear market phase. All right, what else are we looking at over there? I'm trying to catch up on a couple of comments over there. Yeah, Jay. Well, that's my trade. That's my trade. At 10,500. I've been accumulating hockey. I love hockey, my favorite sport. Close with snowboarding. Hockey. I've been accumulating Bitcoin for the last 3 months. That's aside from that's completely separate. On BlockFi, I've been accumulating almost weekly on BlockFi and continue to do so. I love BlockFi. I've been using it now for about 3 months. It is the easiest way I've ever purchased Bitcoin. And obviously they pay interest on it as well. But I am considering taking it off BlockFi, foregoing that interest payment and just keeping those Bitcoins stored offline. Nevertheless, right now I keep them stored on BlockFi. They have certain security, not only 2-factor authentication, but you can whitelist certain addresses. Not only that, they do facial recognition for any types of withdrawals. Feel pretty secure about that. What else is going on over here? I don't know. Let's go find out. By the way, I haven't looked at oil in a long time. And the reason for that is because I am, quite neutral on oil. When I say quite neutral, I mean, I feel like you're tying up your money where you could be putting it to much better use. If you look at this over here, this is going back to June, July, August, September, October. That's just sideways. That's sideways. I avoid sideways markets like the plague, and not much else to add or say about that. I feel like your money could be put to better use. All right. Everyone gets to cast their vote. Right? Man, I haven't checked on that hard. So here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Let's keep going over here. Another hurricane coming. It's hurricane season, right? All through the end of October. By the way, let's check on Kips Nickel. Kips Nickel yesterday was up massively, about 3 or 4%, I believe. Look over here. I'm just trying to see over here where the next bit of resistance is. I'm going to draw the line in. We don't have it. And there's not much else to add or say about that, but let's make sure we keep our charts up to date. There we go. Buying time here. Markets are opening right now. Let's check in on the equity markets, right? I also see, by the way, we got a lot of FX to go through today. FX is where it's at today, right? Is that a descending wedge or ascending wedge over there? I don't know. Let me tell you something, though. If this broke down over here towards this resistance and out of this wedge, that should take us back down towards this support over here. Watch if that happens. That would be a possible opportunity. Below over here, we have some nice support. Let me fix that up over here on this chart over here, right? Look over there. This is where I'm attracted to. There was the test of support and then another touchdown over there. So if we broke down out of that wedge, good opportunities perhaps to pick up going forward. Let's take a look now at the equity markets to see if there's been any change now as the markets are now opening. By the way, if you ever do watch, usually from 9 o'clock, 9:10 Eastern time up until the open, whatever direction the markets were heading tend to fade a little bit for those 20 minutes and then resume course. Let's see if that's what's happening today. That's what it appears to be happening today. Let's see on the NASDAQ if we could get this breakout. Obviously, if you get the rejection at this point, again, anyone involved in the NASDAQ, you're into that resistance now. This only meant you're now moving your stop loss to break even, taking a little piece off. I think it's smart here. It's decent resistance. We have, though, today positive indications that some type of piecemeal stimulus is working out. And that's what the market seems to be floating on today, trading on today. All right, what else we got? I'm not watching it, but someone keep their eye out. Let me know if Bitcoin breaks out over here. All right, let's go look at FX this morning in the Conquering the Markets group. We're looking at some interesting trades. This one was brought to our attention over here on Swiss franc Japanese yen. Let me go ahead and show you what we're looking at over there. First, let me clean this up. Give me 1 second, please. Just let me. So whether this is true or not, I don't know. I was watching yesterday on Impact Theory, Tom Blue's channel. Amazing channel, highly recommended on YouTube. Interesting for just learning all sorts of different things. And by the way, I love learning, period. And they were talking about how important language is and how important the things you say, how important they are. For example, if you're like, oh, I always get sick, well, then you're probably going to get sick. If like you could have your keys in your hand and you're like, I can't find my keys. And then your brain, this is actually scientific studies. Your brain numbs the nerves in your hand, in that hand holding the keys, just so you're not proving wrong. This whole self-identity thing. Interesting stuff. So why I'm saying that is I believe that the brain is so powerful. I'm always talking about being our best tool as traders is the brain. I believe that having charts that are first of all clean, and that includes resistance red, support green, is very important because as you glance at things, your brain is taking in all sorts of information. And why those two are red right over here, that's confusing for the brain. I don't need to think about it. It's just confusing. So anyway, that's my little rant. Over here, it was pointed out this ascending wedge pattern, right? You can all see that. It's very clear. I could draw it in nice and neat, but I don't need to. I'm just trying to point it out to you, and also this resistance, right? So what are you looking at over here, right? Is it possible that we break down outside of this wedge, reject it off? Was that a trade right there, first of all? Hold on. Let me back up. Let me actually make this neat. Let's focus in on it. And let me talk about it. It's going to be a learning experience. And then we have another great one that was also pointed out on the Euro New Zealand dollar. We're going to look at both of them this morning, and then we're going to look through FX because I think there's a lot of setups today. I want to get involved. Boom, 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 boom. Learning to learn. Learn to learn. That's an amazing phrase right there. Learn to learn. All right. Boom. Here we go. Nice and neat. So the question is, this morning, do you take this rejection of that resistance right here, right? Do you take that? I don't know. That's a tough one. I honestly don't know. That's obviously up to the individual. Why don't I know? Because you're coming right into resistance right away, right? Now, the nice trade, the easy trade will be a breakdown of this trend line over here, right? A break below, retest, resumption. That's a good looking trade. That's an easy one. That's the one that was pointed out to us, right? Adversely, right? Inversely, I should say, a break above this resistance over there. Well, that brings up buy side trades, even though you have this ascending wedge pattern developing over there. All day long, that would also bring out the upside. I like when pairs are becoming, are trading at a point where they're opening up actually the upside and downside, depending on what happens. This is one of them, right? What I'm trying to point out over here, I would not be discouraged from taking along here if we break above the 115.66 resistance. I would like that trade. Now, this is to the downside, obviously very clear, breaking outside of this wedge over here. That's a good looking trade. Would I take this trade right over here? I don't think so. And again, only because I don't like taking trades right into support in this case. Interesting trade. Good to look at. By the way, just seeing what's going on over there. Market's not really moving. DXY is the same. Nothing has changed. What about the Euro New Zealand dollar? This is a good looking one, right? Why is this good looking? So this is kind of sideways, first of all, right? Everyone can see that we are trading sideways. However, what I noticed when I first look at this is that we are right here. It looks like we have traded above this resistance, right? The longer things are sideways, by the way, the longer you get consolidation, then the bigger the breakout. The longer the base, I forget what the term is. The longer the base into outer space. No, that's not right. But either which way, this is traders 101, right? Whether you're looking at, stock markets, CanSlim, the bigger the base that is built out, that breakout from a strong base leads to the bigger move. Over here, you could see consolidation over here. It looks like we're closing above that resistance. And over here, during this session over here, is it possible we go ahead and make a higher high over there? Would that lead to an entry? Yeah, I would be prone to take that. At the same time, maybe you come up a little bit higher. You don't take the first one. You wait for a different pullback, a retest. But I would be taking the upside above this resistance level. Now, after looking at this, I also then saw, and I drew in this over here, we also at the same time look like we're having another ascending wedge over here. Let's draw it in over here together, right? It's pretty clear. And a breakdown out of that could be setting up a future trade. Not happening anytime soon, but maybe we come up over here. Maybe we come test, this resistance right over here as we're getting towards this ascending wedge resistance. That could be opening up some trades in the future. So I don't see it today. And by the way, do you see how I work through the trade mentally? Like, whether we're looking at the Swiss franc, Japanese yen, but it's by talking about what you see, right? You're just talking about what you see. And then that's how you develop your plan and decide what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. So both those things have become interesting for me to watch, but neither one of them is really saying, all right, this is something within, the next 12 or 24 hours that I'm looking to trade. Yeah, please go ahead and hit that like button over here. By extension, the euro New Zealand dollar probably is the same price. We'll look at the euro Australian dollar right now, Tony. Let's check it out. And then we'll take a look at the euro pound. We've been watching yesterday that both flag was pointed out. We'll take a look at them both. I want to look at all of FX right now. I definitely want to see what's going on over there. First, we'll start with, by extension, the euro Australian dollar. Let's see what's going on over there. That's messy. I have this, again, talk about the bigger the base, right? That's a big, wide base. So I have this arrow, a breakout above, or this breakout and down. But for me, this is still sideways. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's really good, by the way, when you're doing your analysis. You don't have to spend time on any individual chart if it's clear what's there. For me, I don't play sideways markets because I don't have the opportunity to push a trade. So even though you're coming back now into a little bit of support over here, that's just irrelevant. I'm looking at this big base forming. A massive move could be coming in the future, right? But I'm waiting till we break above or below before I start looking to trade it. What was the other one we wanted to see? The euro British pound. And by the way, all right, a couple of things. Let me remove this because that's not nice for my eyes. The second one, that's good. All right, let me go ahead and first remind everyone next week is the October 15th deadline given by the UK for a deal or no deal with the UK. The UK at this point is calling their bluff. This is a highly volatile pair to be trading. A lot could happen. I'm avoiding it at this point 100%. If you're looking at what's going on, though, is that a bull flag? Yep, that looks like a bull flag to me. How do you trade that bull flag? You either wait for the breakout to the upside, breakout, retest, resumption, or trading to the lower trend line support. You could take an entry off of there if that occurs. For example, whether it was this, right? Whether it was this, those are both good entries to take off there. As you come into the upper resistance, you're protecting the trade. You're hoping you get the breakout, but you're expecting that the resistance holds, so you protect your trade. You have to be mentally strong. You have to be able to take trades for break even to win. All right. So if we come back down and test this area again, this trend line support, right, of that channel, of that bull flag, either one, it's either a channel or a bull flag. In this case, you do have some nice support looking at this place, right? That would be a really good possibility at taking a trade on this. Otherwise, it's until you break out to the upside. So this is a learning session, huh? US dollar, Canadian dollar. Zoltan, what's going on? Ken, that's right. This is just a learning session over here. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. I want to look at them all. So let's look at some Canadian dollar pairs. We'll start with the US dollar, Canadian dollar, and then we will go to the so by the way, US dollar pair, remember, dollars in no man's land, right? Dollars in no man's land between the resistance at 94 and the support at 93.38. We're waiting for clarity. So I saw New Zealand dollar, US dollar, Canadian dollar. It's a little tough right now to get a direction, right? Well, also you have the DXY also in no man's land. So are you buying off support here now? But remember over here, I said you could buy off this trend line support. Are you now coming back and retesting the support? Could you buy over there? Maybe, right? Everyone could see it at least what I'm talking about. Should that be up a little bit? Let me move that up a little bit. I'll have a line right next to it. What else? That's all I could say. There's no clarity there for myself either, right? I would not be looking to buy the US dollar, Canadian dollar until we cleared all the way above this resistance all the way up here, right? And short, you short off resistance. We're coming into support right now. I don't see a trade whatsoever right now. What else do we have? Thank you, Zen. By the way, thank you for that, only because that really, yen, it just means a lot to me. So I appreciate that. Thank you. NASDAQ was into resistance. That's noise, by the way. That's just a little bit of noise. Go back to the 8-hour time frame. If the 8-hour time frame is not making a lower low than the previous price bar, well, then the momentum is to the upside. Okay? That's just to keep you on the right side over there. So Jason, hold on one second. Do you think gold has a relevant trend line that touches the swing low of March 31st to June 8th, September 8th? So here's the March low, right? The swing low of June 8th. Yeah, well, we have that trend line right there. You see it, Jason? I just make it darker if it was in play, but it's no longer in play right now. It was in play. This is like a parabolic trend line that we're looking at on the Russell, right? This would look at the sharpness. So it's once that breaks, then that was our first sign that the bullish structure had come under attack. But right now, I'm just made that a lot lighter because it's no longer in play for us. All right, what else? What we got? One other thing over there. Oh, look at Kips. What's the ticker? What's the ticker? And then there was also, we'll look at Apple, but Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Is that what it was? Hold on one second. Bear with me. I saw another comment. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. That was the one we have to go through first. Kips, please give me the ticker. Be glad to look at it. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, interesting as a short. And right. So by the way, let me clean up the chart. Resistance. Now, it's the first time in a while I'm looking at the New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. How do I know that? Well, I just had to flip over to resistance. So I'm going ahead and I'm going to get that bigger overview, right? Is that an uptrend or a downtrend? Well, Jordan, it's kind of sideways, which means could probably play both ways. Since March, it's in an uptrend, but now look at this big level over here, right? These two big levels. We're trading below it. What else do I see? I see that line over there. All right. So let me go back up to the 8-hour really quick. And now what do I see? Being rejected by that resistance over there. Look, I think you're looking in the right place, but I'm way hesitant. I'm way hesitant off of this a break below that trend line. I think that would give me a little bit more confidence to playing the breakdown over here on the downside. Adversely, if you just go ahead and could you clone these lines I make over here? Yeah. Adversely, you also have this little bit of channel, right? I don't play ranges like this, but getting back above that resistance, yeah, we're kind of stuck in this channel right now. Breaking down below it, I could remove the upper line. I don't need it. Breaking down below it, right? That would give me more confidence for playing the downside over there. Let me go in order over here. There's other things that I wanted to see. There's a lot I wanted to see. This is a good session for getting. Hold on one second. Australian dollar, New Zealand. Oh man, look at that. Right, you all see it. Trend line, breakout, retest. And I point this one out. Well, I don't need to. I was on the indexes. I've been talking about it. I could just show you really quick, right? I talked about over here as we broke out of this wedge, right? That even if we broke out and then came back and tested all the way down here again, that's still bullish. You kind of get a sense of what I'm talking about right now, and that this broke out and then came all the way back down and tested that area again. There was the line, right, that I had in there for the entry, and this is looking just super uber bullish. Not as much to say. That's I wish I took that trade. I was sleeping. What else? DXY, gold, Bitcoin, they're all not really moving. We'll take a really quick look at Apple. Apple's towards the top of the resistance right over here right now. Everyone can see it. Let me make that a little bit clearer for you all, right? So Apple towards that top of that resistance over here. This could carry the markets forward if you get a breakout over there. If you get a breakout, but right now it's into resistance in this channel. That's just clear as day. Right? Clear as day. What else? Alan, good to be here, man. Thank you very much. On March 31st. Do I have the wrong channel, Jason? Daily. March 31st. So you're looking for a trend line like, just hold on really quick, like this. I don't know what you're seeing over like that. That's a clone of this trend line. That's a clone of this trend line. That's definitely a very valid line to have. Yeah, let me keep that in light over here because if we break down over here, we could watch how price reacts into that line. Thanks for that ad, Jason. I definitely see it. I definitely like it. By the way, I'm not doing it. Or the slope should be a little bit higher. I'm not doing it. I'm just seeing that that's an exact clone of this line over here, right? It's what we have over here on silver. And you could see that when silver broke down, that line actually held and has held twice since we put that in there. So that's a really good ad. Thanks, Jason. Euro Canadian dollar, just trying to go in order here. I want to get a look again. FX is beautiful today. Euro Canadian dollar, bullish over here in the fact that we broke out of that trend line, being rejected right over there, but we're just sideways in no man's land. We're just sideways in no man's land. This is something that I just would avoid, would not even take another look at. Coming back into support down over here. Okay, that opens up for sure a place to buy. But right now we're in no man's land. Consolidating under resistance. Tesla, what's going on over here? How many people we got in here today? 1,100 people in here. 500 likes. Good. Tesla's broken out over there of that trend line. It's like the rest of the markets, right? Hold on. It's like the rest of the markets, right? Apple, it's consolidate. I don't know. I don't have a clear read on that whatsoever. This trend line, though, these two trend lines have provided support. I guess the best thing I could say about Tesla going in right now would be as long as we continue holding this trend line, 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, held, right? We closed out of it, but then pumped that. That's, you got to maintain your bullish posture on Tesla. A final breakdown of that trend line over there, that could open up a place for a deeper correction on Tesla. So Tesla just continues to look bullish, and I don't really have anything to add right now to the conversation. That's for sure. If I don't have anything to add to the conversation, there's nothing I could say. ETFs, all commodities. Do you have a ticker? KIPS. Is JJN the ticker for the all commodities? That's nickel. I don't have a ticker for all commodities. I think if I go to Kimball Solutions, follow me 1 second, everyone, and then we'll go back to the charts over here. I'm going to go to their blog. I remember a post about a month ago. Free research. I remember a post about a month ago talking about all commodities. They were in a channel. I'm going to try and see if I could find that over here. Maybe I could do this. I don't see it. If someone gives me the ticker for all commodities, I can follow it. Let me just try one more time while we're here together. We're into September now. I don't see it. This is it. This is the chart right here. All right, let's check it out. This is TR Equal Weight Commodity Index over here. And look at this channel that it was in over here, right? So this is a 9-year bearish falling channel over here. A breakout to the upside would really be setting that off. That would be a big sign inflation's coming. I don't know what happened since. This was all the way back in September to what happened. I wish I could get a ticker for that. Equal weight. I don't see a ticker. I don't know what ticker to look for over here. I would like to know what happened now, whether or not we're still in this bearish channel over here or we've broken out to the upside. The similar. All right, let's keep going. Thanks for taking that minute there with me to figure that all out. So, yeah, do I trade off fundamentals in the fact that when you have fundamentals lined up with technicals, that's when the magic happens. That's what you're looking for. But to take a trade just based on fundamentals without having the technicals, that's just silly. That's why Jim Rogers is always on the wrong side of the trade for so long, right? And he'll be the first to admit it. He's the worst trader there is, right? You have to use technicals. Technicals is the single. It's all about technicals, but you want to line up fundamentals with that. Reggie, we looked at the U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar. You probably picked that in afterwards. Going down, looking at the comments, Giant Cat over there. Is Bitcoin breaking out yet? Or is it just, yeah, it's flirting with the breakout. Nothing more. Bitcoin's flirting with the breakout over there of that trend line. Needs to break above it. Yes, Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Let's take a look at this one and talk about it for a second. So what am I seeing on there? So when I was looking at this morning, and is this set up here for a short? Well, possibly. You're into resistance right now. You're below that trend line over there. That's both resistance and a rejection here at the right time of day. That does provide a shorting opportunity, no doubt about it. At the same time, if we get back above that 76 level, that resistance right there, and that trend line over there, that's also opening up opportunities for the upside. So I talked about, I like when things are offering possibilities for the upside and downside. Australian dollar, Japanese yen is one of them, right? Now, of course, it's this resistance over here at 76.70 that would really, then you got this resistance right there. So before this thing is flying bullish again, it's got a lot of work to do, no question about that. But I would be looking to take the trade to the long side just above 76 over here. If it's able to break above that resistance, get it back above that trend line, it's looking very solid again. However, a rejection here, that's also bringing up the possibility for a rollover. So nice shout out on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen trade over there. How many entries would you make after being stopped out? Selden, I just don't understand the context of that question. Right? Would I re-enter something after being stopped out? Of course. The reasons of your stop is to manage your risk. That you as long as it's a high probability trade, I'll take it all day long. Nice breakout on the US dollar, Swiss franc. Let's check it out over there. I don't know. I don't see a breakout, right? For a breakout of this little bit of a channel you got going on over here, right? If you're focused in on this channel right there, right? You have this resistance, this horizontal resistance to worry about, and you're going to have to close above that today. If you close above it, that would be bullish, but also follow me really quick, right? So this is not out of the woods by any means. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you really quick by cloning this. Downside, that fits in perfect. But what I really want to show you is this up here. You're going to have that, see that resistance right there? You have to clear above that outer channel over there for that to be a breakout. There are a couple of different things I could show you to see what that's looking like. But I think the best one is Chainlink. Let me show you Chainlink right now to give you an idea of what I'm talking about over here. Do you see this? This is a similar situation where this was the big trend line over here, but breaking out of it, that just set up a retest of that outer resistance level, which has since held. All right. So on the New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc, are you possibly breaking out here? Possibly breaking out over here, but you have this outer resistance over there, that clone trend line to worry about. You also have this horizontal resistance over there. Not yet. Not yet by any means. Yep, Jason, good ad over there. That could come in handy if we trade down over there. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, just declared thinking everyone's going negative. Everyone is thinking about those negative interest rates and going. So, by the way, let me just extend this trend line over here. All right, let me extend that trend line over there. Really simple. Really simple in that getting above this trend line really opens up the upside over there. That trend line goes back, by the way, a decent amount of time. That's going back 5 years. A break above that will open up the upside. This is consolidating. This is not offering an edge right now, in my opinion. Tesla big triangle. Let's check it out really quick. Square, it's been a long time. Square, man. Again, that was a reminder of don't follow Head and Shoulders, which y'all know that I'm not really the biggest fan of. What do we got going on over here on Tesla? I mean, on Square, new all-time highs. This thing is bonkers. I don't know what the PE is on this. It must be like, I think it's 196 or 234. You know, but man, can you imagine the revenues they're going to be bringing in over the next 12 months as Bitcoin goes into this massive bull market and every single media outlet is talking about it? I don't know, but there it is. Let's move up over here. Let's go ahead and add just a support level. That's a good support level to watch in the future. Not much to add to the conversation. Thank you. Appreciate that. Alphabet, man. This is interesting, by the way. When I say this is interesting, because you could see right away that it's coming into some nice resistance over here, right? I guess it's right there at 1500, the whole number. Let's draw that in at 1500. Why do I say that's interesting? Well, resistance is made to support and resistance are made to hold until they don't anymore, right? A break above that resistance could really send the rest of the market off with it. You got further resistance right over there, about 526. A lot of overhead resistance is what's going on over here with the possible break. I don't know what's going on over here. That's why I just like to stay away from the public markets. Yeah, there's not much else I could add over here except it's got a lot of overhead resistance, right? Are you getting a possible breakout over here? Let's see. Right? You can all see that. Let me just make that pretty. So I could take the markets with it. What, Mike? Did Square bought 50 million worth of Bitcoin? That's Thank you, Mike. I didn't know about that news. Someone mentioned something about Bitcoin Square giving 50 million to Bitcoin. I thought they meant to developers. This is huge because this comes off the back of MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy was the first public company to take their reserve dollars and purchase Bitcoin with them, $450 million worth. A lot of Bitcoiners put a lot of pressure on Jack, who is sitting on an enormous amount of money, and none of it was invested into Bitcoin. This is a huge deal, even though it's a small amount of money. It's a huge deal because now you have two public companies that have positioned themselves. By the way, Bitcoiners, man, those guys are great. What do I mean by that? I mean, these guys play game theory out so far in advance. It's ridiculous. One of the things when MicroStrategy first bought the Bitcoin was that they were talking about the domino effect and how other public companies that are sitting on cash are going to need to do the same thing. Here is the second domino falling, and it's a big company. That's a big deal, right? Just playing that through, because you have other companies like Apple sitting on how much money? $200 billion worth of cash, right? How long before you have other tech companies sitting on a bunch of cash going ahead and putting their reserves into Bitcoin? That's awesome. What is YFI? I'm not even familiar. I mean, YFI. I don't. What that looks terrible, right? That looks terrible. Look, what high probability trades is what you're looking for. Penny stocks is completely gambling, right? Stay away. Go no change the work towards those Svetlana, of course. We just looked at the US dollar Swiss franc. You can pull back a tiny bit. How many cups do I recommend for better trading? I don't know, Glenn. I don't know in the fact that, listen, some people could have a cup of coffee and it makes them really edgy and anxious. That's not good. I could drink a lot of strong coffee and I don't get anxious. So that's different. Um, so we looked at nickel over here, right? It's the same exact thing, right? As JJN. It's the same exact thing over there. We're looking at that possible wedge developing. You got this resistance right above you. I think that if you break out to the downside, it's just giving you an opportunity to buy off support further low. That's not such a big pattern. The move out of it would not be that far, right? Break above here, skies are getting clear. Yeah, let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum continues, let's say, to be under pressure. This is Ethereum on an 8 hour. And so similar to this is, very simple. When I say very simple, you have this trend line over here, the same one that we're looking at on Bitcoin, and a breakout above it, right? That could send all the crypto markets flying. But until you break out above it, right, you don't have a safe entry. I'm wondering right now if that resistance should be pulled up higher. And that's what we're looking at right now. The Bloomberg's commodity index. Let's check it out. So, by the way, let's check this out over here. What were we looking at over here? What kind of chart was this? This is, I guess, a weekly chart. Well, by the way, Kips, do I have the chart you're looking for before I get into it? AIGG ticker. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I sincerely don't know. I can't get any type of edge off of this whatsoever. I don't know. You know, I simply don't know. But I could look towards the future, and I can't put any type of time frame on it. You know, but in my opinion, we are definitely making whether it's the next year or 3 or 4, for sure we're going to be seeing signs of massive inflation, right? And but I don't know, Kips. I'm sorry, I don't have anything to say or add. I don't. Let's check out both the Euro US dollar and also the Euro and the Euro Japanese yen. Let's check them both out, right? So Euro Japanese yen, clear as day, right? You can see the wedge pattern over here. You're into support right now. A resumption off of this, is that a place to lean in to buy? Yes, it is. All right, that's actually set up over here. All right, maybe that is the trade over the night. I don't know. A breakdown over here, by the way, is a breakdown of this wedge over here below this support over here at 124.30, right? Is that setting up a sell signal? Yeah, only with a retest. But yeah, this is both ways as well. I knew FX was lit today. All right, what about the Euro US dollar? Euro US dollar, I'm just going to pause here and say, look, until the DXY breaks out of its neutral holding pattern, I'm not looking to get involved on any dollar pairs. Silver and gold dropping off. No, they're not really. They're in no man's land. Don't get caught up on price fluctuations when you're between support and resistance like that. They're just in no man's land. There's nothing really going on at all. Yeah, no, Kips, you're looking at some really good long-term plays, and you got the fundamentals, in my opinion, behind them, right? And this is, so by the way, this is when Jim Rogers is right, and anyone who wants to go back and look at any of his videos over the last 5 years on commodities and everything he's talking about, it's all correct. He was just on the wrong side of the trade because of the technicals. Is now the time to start paying attention and positioning early? Yeah, Kips, you're right. Everyone will be FOMOing into those trades later for 100% on the same page as you. No, Reggie, the Euro Japanese yen didn't break down because there's no signal. I mean, you're above support over here. You're coming into horizontal support, and you have this trend line support right over there. Reggie, take the course for sure. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. Let's check it out over here. This is interesting. This is actually very interesting, breaking above a very important resistance over here. This is actually setting up, by the way. Look there. That's where we went. That was an opportunity to go long, right? Where we have circled on that entry. But here's an opportunity to possibly add over here. This is also set up over here. Lots of Japanese yen pairs set up, some in different directions. All right. Oh, what am I doing? That's green. Green. That's interesting now. All right. Or a retest and a resumption off could set that off as well. So Favang, hackers moved more than $26 million worth of Bitcoin associated with the hack of cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex suffered in 2016. I think it's off the Square news. That doesn't sound bullish for Bitcoin. Hackers getting ready to sell funds. I don't know. Let's check out US dollar, Mexican peso. Yes, it is interesting, Will, and it's interesting in the fact that you're coming up and testing this bit of resistance, right? It is interesting. I see so many more personally. Again, that's just me. I see a lot of setups that we've seen today in FX that potentially are really going to be. I'm going to be active tonight, but this one is not it for myself. It is interesting that we're coming back down into this resistance over there and a rejection, but you see that we also made a lower low already, right? You already made a lower low during London, so people could be short right there. But now you have the retest of the level. I see it, Will. I just don't like it. I don't really think much of any, What do you see if you look at that? Everyone should see the same exact thing without me even saying it. That's as clear as day, right? This is clear as day. You have yeah, absolutely. There's information on there when you manage your subscription. If you do to take, as some people have suggested, and start with the monthly plan. If you go ahead and when you upgrade to the yearly plan, that last monthly payment will be refunded. Just go ahead and you'll see that information for sure. Broker level, yeah. we were watching. We started off, and we always start off, by the way, with the S&P 500. So if you ever are just joining the stream and want what's going on with the equity markets, is S&P, Nasdaq, Dow, and then the Russell. And yeah, not much else to add over here. We did really good look at that this morning over there. If BCC doesn't break the descending triangle, right? Always looking for that downside resistance over there. Excuse me. Would that increase the probability of a breakdown? The only thing that not until we break below this trend line over here. And by the way, as we looked at, that trend line goes from here. That break below that, and then Bitcoin has broken down out of the consolidation pattern. A rejection here today does not increase the chances of that happening any more than it did over here, right? Any more at all than it did over here. As long as you hold that line over there, we are consolidating. A breakout above, this sends it, right? That's the confirmation over here, this line, right over here, coming in at right now at let's call it 11,184. A break below here, that's going to send us down, in my opinion, to at least close the CME gap, probably into 9,500, possibly lower to 8,800. All right. Thanks, BFang. Appreciate that. Ken, absolutely, brother. I admired you for asking lots of questions before joining. I know that you asked a question on the YouTube channel, and a bunch of people that were, obviously paid members shared their experience. And I'm glad that you're now a part of that group. I think it was a good session, everyone. Much better than it was a great session. It's been a great week, has it not? We've been on fire. Yeah, maybe. Listen, that might be a sell the news then. Right? Yeah, I think it's 18,000. If you go to the Bitcoin playlist, Thomas, the highest video on there is the last updated video is where I gave the price target for the December of 2020. Whether it's 17 or 18,000, I don't know. That was done months ago, but that's still my target, 100%. That's still my target. I don't think that Bitcoin's going to break down to 88. First of all, that's not where I lean towards at all. And I've said since the beginning, I think it's possible we can close the CME gap. I do not think that happens. So I'll just leave it there. But if you look at the historical returns of Bitcoin ever since its inception, between October and November, right? You're talking, what is it? Is it 30 and 60% respectively? So, I mean, is $18,000 in play? It is for me. Let's see what happens. All right. A good session, everyone. We're going to call it a session. Hamish, welcome. Listen, as you're getting the emails, giving you the instructions over the next few days, best practices, how to get set up, pay attention to them. Check your bulk folders. Make sure you get them. Watch the CNT, the Conquering the Markets recommended playlist. You have access to all of those past training sessions. Make sure you spend your time right now as you have this opportunity, really getting into trade management. It's crucial. It's important. And then this coming Tuesday, we'll have our next live session over there. Great session, everyone. Great session. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you, James. Damn. Thanks for always bringing a smile. Appreciate that. Cassidy, man. Thank you for that. Let's get the. Oh, no, we're far. We're far. Maybe we'll hit 700 likes today, though. I think so. Thank you, Miguel. Does everyone notice how we avoided those US dollar pairs today? We focused in on the crosses, offering plenty of opportunity, but because the DXY is not, right? That's how we use the DXY. So a good, thank you, Thomas. Good example. You too, have a wonderful day, JC, everybody, Shane, GRL, everybody. Listen, it's okay. The value's there. That value's there. That's what's important. Thank you, Brian. You too, Reggie. That's good, Tom. That's good. This is a great place to be for everyone. Lulu, you too, brother. Have a beautiful day. Malaysia. Thank you. Thank you, Henry. May God bless you too. Thanks, Craig. Craig, man, I'm grateful for it. That type of feedback really makes me really it brings me a lot of let's say fulfillment. Thank you. All right, Joe. Tonight might be a good night. I'm ready for it. Lee Brown. Roman, my brother. We got a big Australian community. Aussies. Aussies are great. Have a great night, Tony. You too, Alan. Thank you for that. Thanks for hitting that like button. Thanks for the support, guys. I appreciate that very much. Ruben, hold on 1 second. I'm in the course. I signed up for a month, but I'm planning to switch. How do I get the emails? Ruben, 2 things. First thing is check your bulk folders because you receive an email 2 hours after signing up, then one the next day, and then one 2 days later. If you're not getting those emails, Ruben, go to the website, contact me, and then I'll figure that out for you right away. All right? So do that, Ruben. First, check your bulk folders. If you don't have them, just send me a contact through the website. Yeah, where's Rex? That's true. Hope he's well. Thanks, Mickey. Thanks, everybody. D-Trade, Dan, everyone, Jake, from Korea. Have a beautiful day, everybody. I'll be looking forward to the afternoon update. And for sure, I love those Friday sessions. I've enjoyed so much. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate that very much. That's the best comment of the day. Listen, Monday, right? We were at like 70%. I was like, all right, let's give this one day. The rest of the week has been flowing nicely. I'm enjoying every moment with y'all. Have a beautiful day, everyone, and I'll talk to you later.